Hi everyone, it's Brittany and I'm from Group 1, Week 7. Let me see. First, for the individual questions. From the very beginning, it's clear that Shin and her team were not thinking with an ecosystem view, because just on the method section on the left, it says that they interviewed these people 5 years later. This initial form of measurement doesn't give an overview of what happened during the course of those 5 years. Their whole experiment happened over that time frame, and they completely skipped over it, in my opinion. Questions they should have asked were, or explored more, were why 5 years? Why not 2? Why not 3? Why is 5 years the average for people to be homeless? Basically, I think that as far as a more thorough measurement, they should have explored what went on during those 5 years. Was it a constant? Did it continue to decline for the families? Did it improve? And also, where are the layers? Not only how is this family affected on an individual basis as far as maybe losing a job, but what was going on in New York City during that time? What type of background do they come from? What type of financial crisis was the U.S. in, or the world? So many outside things that affect the things on a smaller scale weren't even considered. So I just think that the research they did was very minimal and didn't expand, and just bad, in my opinion. But I think that a lot of their research was skipped because they say, oh, these 5 families got on this list, and that's about it. Let's see how they're doing 5 years later. That's weird. Going on to Group 1's questions. I think the most important aspect of thinking like an ecosystem in order to do a better research is understanding the ecological levels, the importance of each of those levels, and the role they play in making the system function overall. I don't think that one system is any more important than the other. But it's kind of funny. For some reason, I keep thinking of the Lion King and the Circle of Life song. I kind of wanted to play it in the video, but I thought it was like creepy Disney serenading. Anyway, but just basically how everything has a cause and effect. Everything affects something else, and it's a circle of life. And everything needs everything. So that's what it kind of puts me in the mindset of kind of want to go watch the movie now. Also, when it comes to those causes and effects, it's very important, according to the video lecture, that we measure ecologically, and we have to do a thorough analysis of the whole, each layer, how the layers affect one another, and especially over time. I believe that by changing our way of researching and measuring, we can get a better and more, basically a clearer outlook of the system overall. I also think that researchers have a tendency to develop tunnel vision, and they pretty much focus on their one thing. Like with WHO, is it WHO or WHO? Okay, either way. Their focus was one thing, one item. They got that done, they attacked that, so they felt like it was a success. But had they looked at the overall picture instead of that one little speck, they could have understood how, to better handle the situation and not have so many fallbacks, to not have to go backwards and fix so many of their mistakes. My personal example is me working at a restaurant. I am a manager, so that is me as a manager. I'm the individual. This is my demo system. And how the restaurant success affects me. The meso system is a small group, basically the other managers and the owners that I work for. So it's people on my level and right above my level. We're this small group trying to make this bigger thing work and successful. Microsystem, all those that impact me, people who I manage, such as my servers, my hosts, Also, other people, the food distributors, the person who sells us all of our alcohol, making sure we have liquor license and building permits. Next is the ecosystem, the outside community, which is competing restaurants. And we live we live pretty much like on an army post. So Fort Riley, all the patrons and people who live there, everyone who comes to our restaurant to enjoy an experience, because what they say and think has a huge impact, probably more so than anyone else, on the success of our restaurant. There's one bad night where something came out cold and they completely had an awful dining experience. So that is one huge effect, I think, personally, the ecosystem, because I think that because it's like literally in the middle, and I think that it just kind of affects everything the most, in my opinion. Macrosystem is like society and the powerful relationships in our area, such as the city that I live in, Junction City, Fort Riley, the Army Post, and the Chamber of Commerce, which has a huge effect on the different businesses that we have in the community. Our geosystem, I believe, would be the state of Kansas. It somehow things always trickle up to the larger sense. What I've observed, like as far as my example, is that it's not a huge thing that goes from me to like the whole world, but I think it's crazy how it's like a mini. It's my pup. It's like a mini ecosystem within a larger ecosystem. So I think that each of the layers kind of have layers in a way, like working to make, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like, because like my example is like a mini ecosystem within a larger one. Because these were broken down from my viewpoint, but you can actually spread them out and look at overall, like and bring the government into it, and like where the restaurant stands on a scale of all restaurants in Kansas or in the U.S. and where it ranks. So you can actually go a little bit higher. So those are my thoughts on things this week. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye.